So El Dorado County, I referenced this yesterday, we're in Northern California. We're just, we border Sacramento, the capital, and then South Lake Tahoe. If you've not been to South Lake Tahoe, it's a beautiful lake. And again, it covers 15 school districts, 12 TKE districts that feed into one high school district, and then 2 unified districts. It's a wonderful county. We, as a county office, I shared yesterday, so I'm gonna hold off in getting into the details. We run programs in schools, we support districts, and we do that not only locally, but regionally and statewide. When we're looking at just the journey over the last 5 years, because we began this work intentionally in 2020 to 2024, so I wanna just skip a rock across the lake and just hit some of the high points as we're trying to bring this home. So this is just a visual that shows like key high points of our body of work from 2020 to 2024. So we intentionally focused on just really focusing on our people in year one. The strategies in particular are looking at rounding and engagement, and just again, think about what was taking place in 2020 and 2021 and how important that was. As we started to progress in our journey, we wanted to really look at how we identified our priorities and created alignment. I had shared with you yesterday, we're a very complex system, and just the idea of getting alignment across multiple bodies of work was a significant win for us. We're now in a place where we're trying to focus on how do we build and hardwire systems that were meaningfully reflecting on our progress, and in particular, how are we making impact? So before I expand on that, let me acknowledge a few celebrations. So you see, I referenced some of these celebrations yesterday, but I want to just hit one for the purposes of this morning. If you see number 1, El Dorado County, we provide supports to Native American students, not only in El Dorado County, but Amador County, which is adjacent to us. And in one of our combined huddles, we had a leader who said, you know, we were reflecting on our work last year, and for the first time in the history of Amador, we had a 100% graduation rate with all of our Native Americans, right? So definitely worthy of an applause. We know how powerful it is when you sense possibility, but again, there was just a significant amount of body of work of implementation of the strategies that helped lift up that type of celebration. You've heard some of these other celebrations, but I'm just gonna hold there for the purposes of this morning. An area in particular that we are focusing on now, again, is this idea of alignment and how we reflect on our progress and looking at how where we're seeing progress in terms of impact. Multiple departments doing local work, regional and statewide work. So what we are doing as a group of leaders, this is the 40+ leaders that I was speaking to yesterday, we have an annual cycle. So if you see on the PowerPoint there, we meet in June. Of course, this is a cycle where we're taking time to really reflect on the progress from the past year and then look ahead. And then these teams are doing it collectively, we're doing it every 90 days, and then we're also doing it in December. So what is the it? It's what we're doing right now. We're looking at the celebrations, 3 celebrations. We're looking at 2 challenges, and we're looking at what's next. And these scorecards are aligned to our overall organizational scorecard, but by department. The body of work is great. So again, you're seeing significant alignment. So here again, this is just a progression of the maturity of our work. I'm gonna highlight number 1, 4, and 6. So new leader onboarding, next level leadership development, and even just project management light. So what do I mean by that? The connection there is we've been very intentional, as I shared yesterday, how we're approaching our onboarding. But as we are communicating and collaborating together across departments, we're starting to see themes in particular that we want to address with new leaders or even emerging leaders. And it could be as basic as we need to really ensure that they understand tools such as Excel or budgeting or project management. Because if you look at a large institution, you may have some discrepancies in even how you manage projects. So we're trying to get consistency across the entire organization. It seems easy to say, but to do and implement consistently becomes really important. So let me finish this way, because I was acknowledging South Lake Tahoe. And I just, given this as an opportunity to help kind of close out the conference, if it's okay, I'm going to go here.
Yep.
I feel like this body of work that we're doing is such a privilege. Many of us have been in education for many years. And I think what we're beginning to see is the systems work becomes really important, not only to protect the good work, but to be bold. So in South Lake Tahoe, I was actually on a high school visit. And there's the high school, South Tahoe High School, is in this beautiful area, and it's nestled right at the bottom of our these hills. And so I was at the high school, and the principal said to me, you know what, there's so much history behind this high school that when the King's Fire was coming, when they had the King's Fire, there was a roaring fire that was coming down onto the high school, that the graduates, there were many graduates who were firemen of the high school, that they went and they put their backs behind the gymnasium, and as the fire was coming down to burn the school, they said, we will not let this school be burned down, right? And they just fought the fire and saved the school, all right? There's just a sense of this body of work that when we go back home, we're trying to protect this good work, but it's symbolic in how we're supporting our students and supporting these systems. So just that disciplined challenge of protecting the good work is just important, and feel the spirit and heart of that. The last thing I'll say is this. In 2020, when we were being introduced to Studer, the superintendent of South Tahoe High School said, hey, this is my last year. This is terrible that we're not going to be graduating our students. We have to figure out a way to go, overcome some of the most significant challenges. So he said, I have an idea. And to make a long story short, we addressed all of these barriers and issues around health and circumstances, and he said, I'm actually going to have our graduating class of South Tahoe High School go to Sierra at Tahoe, which is a ski resort. And they put the graduates, as you know, 15 feet apart, hopped on, right, a ski lift, and they took them up to the top of the Sierras. They handed them a diploma, and then they took a picture with the Sierras at their background, right? It was incredible. I share all that because I think we have to protect the work and then be incredibly bold around this work. So I'm deeply grateful to Pat, deeply grateful to Studer, and for all of you, and just want to say thank you.